Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel, Ron's Keto Cafe, and I'm Ron. If you're new, welcome, and if you're one of my many returning members, welcome back. And if you're a new member, could you please share, like, and smash that subscribe button? It definitely helps me and my other members know when I'm posting videos. Well, today is part of what Ron Eats in a Day series. Today we're having beef Angus steak. And the actual name of the steak when I buy it at Market Basket is called First Cut Steak. And it's boneless and it's got a lot of great marble. So typically what I do when I find that steak, I'll pick up 2 or 3 packages because it's not always available out on the shelf. And since I got the freezer now, I'm able to stock up my meat supply pretty well than I had been in the past. So what I do with this particular steak is once I take it out of the package, I'll score it with a knife and I'll make some, I won't cut all the way through with the knife, and then but before that I'll pat it down dry with the paper towel, and then I'll score it with the knife really well on both sides, making crisscross patterns, and then I'll season it well with garlic powder, onion powder, quite a normal lot of salt, up to taste, and then some pepper. And then at this particular steak, I ended up putting some Montreal steak seasoning on top of each piece of steak, and then I popped it in the air fryer at 400 degrees for 30 minutes. Took it down out of the halfway point and flipped it out on the other side, and I cooked it till it was thoroughly cooked all the way through, and it had a nice crispy charred outer crust on it. And then when that came out of the air fryer, I ended up eating it with a little buttery sauce that I had made, and I poured that over the steak. And what I did with the buttery sauce is I took a tablespoon of butter, a couple of tablespoons of butter, melted it in a microwave oven, and put a little garlic powder and onion powder inside probably about a half a teaspoon. And then I just slurred it up a little bit and just put it right over my steak, and it came out, it was absolutely delicious and fantastic. So the video you're going to be watching is basically me making the steak and explaining the process throughout the video. But I'm doing it this way now because a lot of times when I'm doing recipes, it's very noisy in my apartment complex, and I have a lot of street noise, and we got a little quiet time right now. So without further ado, let's go right into the video. And don't forget to give me a thumbs up, like, share, and subscribe to the channel because it really helps me out. And the other thing about all that is, I take a lot of pride and joy in the dedication what I do to bring you the very best of videos that I can get to you and get filming. And now that I'm going to school for video productions, over the next year or two, my videos are going to really start shining even more than what they are now. So anyways, but enough jibber jabber, let's go right into the video and have a great day. Hi everybody, and welcome back to the channel, Ron's Keto Cafe. Today we're going to be making one of my very favorite cuts of the steak. We're going to be making the first cut steak. This is typically a beef Angus steak. So whenever I see it at the grocery store, I always pick up a couple extra pieces, even if I'm not, or I don't need it. So one of the first things I do, I'll take it out of the package and then I'll pat it dry on a couple pieces of paper towel on both sides of the steak, and then I'll score it with a knife. Once the steak is scored with a knife, then I'll season it well with a little bit of salt, pepper, garlic powder, onion powder. And in this particular case with this steak, I use Montreal steak seasoning on both sides of the steak. Before I forget, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you. Now let's score the steak. What I do is I do cross angles with the knife. Make sure you have a sharp knife. I usually do both sides of my steak. I don't cut all the way through, and the reason why I'm doing this is because it helps the steak cook a little bit faster. If you never used the air fryer before, don't be afraid or intimidated by them. I was that way at first when I got my first air fryer. Now I don't know what I'd do without it, and yeah, so just follow me along with the recipe and you'll be fine. Now it's time to add some seasoning to our steak. Make sure you season your steak on both sides. On this steak I use Redmond's real salt on both sides and some pepper, everything off the taste. And then I use some Montreal steak seasoning, and I also did both sides with the Montreal steak seasoning. At the end of the day, when you're doing your steak or your meat, make sure whatever you're doing, you do you and do what works for you. But I really love this method when I make my steak, and it really tastes really juicy and delicious. Don't be afraid to season your steak, by the way, and when you're using salt, remember salt is our friend as long as it's a good quality salt. Now that our steaks are ready, let's get them into the air fryer. Now, I used my air fryer earlier in the day, that's why it was a little bit greasy when I put the steaks in. And we're going to get this going on 400 degrees for about 30 minutes. We'll flip them at the halfway point, and then after they're ready, we'll pop them out. Well, it's been about 15 minutes here, so now we're going to flip the steaks over and we're going to get them going for another 5 or 6 more minutes. My question of the day is, what is your favorite way that you like to have your steak? I like my steak well done. Well, as you can see, our steaks are done and it took about 25 minutes. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching.